Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today again on the Community Ledger. My name is Andrea Banu, and I am so happy to join you today. So now, the video I'm going to play today, I felt was incredibly important. It is older; it's about 4 months old, but watching it on YouTube, I saw that it didn't have a lot of views, and it's wild as to why. I'm not sure, but it's incredibly important. We're going to talk to somebody who testified in front of Congress, a Border Patrol agent who testified in front of Congress stating that the Biden and the Kamala Harris administration lied to the American public, and he was ordered to lie to the American public with regards to the chaos and the disruption and the dangers of what was happening in at our borders during their administration. So this is really going to be something that is quite a conversation. So please do get comfortable so that we can go ahead and start the show. Yes. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have not already, please do go ahead and press that button to subscribe. It will definitely help me out so that I can continue to put this content together and be a part of the family. So you will be be informed as to when I upload new content. But first and foremost, again, like I mentioned earlier, I really want to play this video. It's going to be an interview that a gentleman who was a former border agent did on Fox News with John Hannity, where he's speaking about testifying in front of Congress about how he was ordered by his superiors to lie about what was happening on the border, as well as put a lot of the I would say the migrants, shall I say, who cross the border in California into San Diego, put them on planes and send them to Texas so it would not appear that it was a problem on that California border. Of course, he also mentioned that a lot of these people were not vetted. A lot of them were on the terrorist watch list or are deemed to be terrorists because they're coming from all over the world. And I just want you to listen to how serious this is and how egregious it is that not only was this allowable, but the Democrats wanted to hide it from you and hide the danger as well. As you know, many citizens of America have been assaulted and unalived due to the unvetting of these migrants in our country. And I'm going to go ahead and state it now. I am not against immigration. However, I am against illegal immigration. I am against not vetting anyone coming into this country, especially people who have records from their home country, egregious crimes that a lot of these people have committed in terms of a murder, as well as SA and horrible things, horrible crimes against children, and not vetted. So he's going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about what he was informed to do and how we were all manipulated via the media by this past administration.
Yesterday, in shocking testimony before the House Homeland Security Committee, a former senior-ranking Border Patrol official, Aaron Heike, alleged that the Biden administration intentionally covered up the border crisis. And in his testimony, Heike explained the lengths that the administration went to lie to the American people, conceal information from the media. Now, take a look at this.
For the first time in my 25 years, and under 5 different administrations, whether through neglect or on purpose, I saw a large-scale lapse in our ability to return people to their country of origin. Simultaneously, in San Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis. Through pressure from the administration, my headquarters became more interested in the fiction that being portrayed in the media and not at all concerned with reality. Each time we asked for help in dealing with a new issue, it fell on deaf ears. At times in San Diego, we had 2,000 or more aliens sitting in between the fences asking to turn themselves in. I was told to move them out of sight of the media.
All right, here with more, former U.S. Border Patrol San Diego Sector Chief Aaron Heike. So you were told to keep these illegal immigrants out of sight. At the same time, Harris, Biden, Mayorkas, and every other administration official, they were telling the American people that the border is secure and the border is closed. So they basically were telling you to lie to the American people and cover it up on their behalf. Is that an accurate description?
I think it's pretty accurate. They wouldn't allow us to put out any information. It was very frustrating knowing what was going on, knowing that there were large gaps in the border coverage, and that there were real threats there that we weren't able to address, and that there were real threats entering our country.
And who was telling you to do that?
It came through my headquarters, Border Patrol headquarters.
Okay, and they also prevented you from reporting the names and the actual number of illegal immigrants that had ties to terror? And if that's the case, because we know there are hundreds of people with terror ties in this country, we know that there are people, 11.5 million is now the number of people we know about. And then of course, there are the gotaways, but people coming from 180 countries, that would include our top geopolitical foes and countries with terror ties. That would be Iran and Syria and Egypt and Afghanistan, and that would include Venezuela. That would include tens and tens of thousands from Russia and China. Am I correct about that?
You are correct. We are not allowed to put any information out on any of the individuals, whether it be the significant increase in number of the significant interest aliens that entered, or any information out that we had large gaps, entire zones across Texas, Arizona, and California that had no agent presence for weeks at a time. We have no idea what and who entered our country over that time frame, and we weren't allowed to put that information out either.
If you couldn't put out the name and the numbers of people that had known terror ties, what happened to those people? Were they released into our country even though you knew they had known terror ties?
The actual end state for all of those people, I don't know where any of them ended up. But if they had significant terror ties, we would turn them over to the FBI for further questioning, and then they would go over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for final determination. I don't know the ultimate, but as many as there were and as much of it was going on, likely many of them were released into the United States public.
Is it safe to say that you have knowledge that there are people from countries with known terror ties and people that have known terror ties themselves? Is it safe to say that you are pretty confident that they have been released into our country?
I think it's safe to say that they are here for sure. Between those numbers that came through, the inability that agents had to do proper questioning because there were so many people that they had to deal with each day, that they slipped through the cracks and entered into our country, yes.
So would it then be logical to conclude, if people with known terror ties from countries with known terror ties that you were told to lie about, would it be logical to conclude that they're likely in this country plotting, planning, and scheming another 9/11 attack or worse? And if, in fact, that happens, would it be fair to blame Harris and Biden and Mayorkas for allowing this to happen? And if Americans die, wouldn't they have blood on their hands?
Well, I think it's one of the things that keeps me up at night. It's one of the things that keeps all the agents that I worked with up at night, knowing that there are those threats that likely did and have come into our country that are here, and that is a much more likely possibility now with the inability to do the Border Patrol mission of national security over the last several years.
Were you forced to release illegal immigrants and pay for flights from your sector in San Diego to Texas? And how much did those flights cost the American taxpayer? And how many flights were there?
The flights started when we were releasing hundreds and sometimes 1,000 more people a day into downtown San Diego. We were given 2 flights a week from San Diego to Texas, about a little over 100 people per day, per flight. So twice a week to fly them to Texas to be released. When I asked why that was being done, I was told that there was a problem in Texas. There was not a problem in California. We received those flights for about a month, and then they stopped. Once those flights stopped, we continued to release. We had no choice. I was told not to release anymore into San Diego. My reply was that I cannot keep those people. Once a person is determined to be released, it's a Fourth Amendment violation to hold them in detention. They must be released. And so I told my headquarters that I would not stop releasing.
So basically, they put you in a position that you had to violate what the laws of this country are, because last I checked, you're not allowed to enter the country without approval. And then you became, in that sense, they put you in a position where you had to release them into the sanctuary state of California. But Aaron Heike, thank you for being honest with the American people and telling them the truth. It's important they know. And I'll add that when they got here, that now Kamala supports decriminalizing them, getting them on a path to citizenship after they get free housing, health care, education, and if they want a free sex change operation. And in Minnesota, you get a legal driver's license and you get a free college tuition paid for you. Amazing country we live in.
So there you have it. You have this gentleman who is a former senior Border Patrol stating that he was informed by his superiors that he was to release these people into the American public, that nobody was vetted, nobody did background checks, and so that the media couldn't see what was going on, would hide them or even and put them on planes and send them to Texas and other parts of America. This is, I don't really think a lot of people understand the gravity of what this entails. To me, a lot of people can't understand the gravity if you're online promoting, or assisting a lot of these people in how to evade ICE. Let's just break it down to its lowest common denominator. So just imagine you're in your home with your family, your children, and there's a knock on the door and there's some sort of government official saying, listen, I've got to release 30 people into your home and they have to live here now and you can't do anything about it. These are men, these are women. You don't know anything about these people. You don't know if they have committed crimes wherever they come from. You don't even know where they came from. They could be threats to your children, threats on so many different levels. Would you really be comfortable with that? Would you really be comfortable with letting 30 strangers who you know absolutely nothing about come into your home, eat your food, live off your power, not put in on your mortgage, your rent, et cetera, and you've got to provide for them off your dime? Yet you've got your children in the next room and you don't even know who the hell these people are. That is the equivalence of what has happened to this country. We have allowed all of these people into the country, millions. ICE already did a report right before the election that stated over 600,000 of these people have criminal records. And I'm not talking about like petty theft. I'm not talking about burglary. I'm not talking about robbery. I'm talking about unaliving and SA and pedophilia. Okay? We're talking about egregious crimes. And this past administration just allowed them to come into the country like it just was no problem. Like, how is that even allowable? To me, that is treasonous. Like, you put so many families, so many communities in harm's way, so many women and children. How do you have a politician like Kamala Harris who states she's an advocate for women and children, but at the same time allow men, okay, men with criminal backgrounds, heinous crimes, to just be dropped off into communities? You know, even here as Americans, as citizens, we got to do background checks. Anytime you move into an apartment, you move into a particular area, you get a particular job, they do a background check on you. Okay? They want to know exactly who you are. So how is it all these people can come from, you know, West who knows a fuck and just come in here and live in our communities like it's no problem? That's how you have the Laken Rileys. That's how you have, you know, the Jocelyn Nungaries. Because you don't know who the hell these people are and what they've done in their past lives. And a lot of them have no desire to come here for a better life. They come here for new territory to commit crime. And everybody jumped on Trump during his first administration, first election, so to speak, where he was like, listen, they're not sending their best. They're not sending their brightest. And he was right. He was right. But look how many lives have been devastated. How many lives have been lost due to this kind of just open border policy. And what's even more egregious is not even that it was done, but that we were lied to and that it was hidden, and that you actually have politicians to this day, like AOC, who is literally getting on social media, recording herself, trying to assist them in how to evade police, how they can hide from ICE, how they can stay in our communities and continue to commit crime. Please help me understand this. Please get in the comments and help me understand this, because for the life of me, I am not understanding the rationale. American citizens who come out of prison, who have committed crimes, go on SA registries. So they're not allowed to live in areas of schools. They're not allowed to just get an apartment wherever they want to. Felons, people who are on the SA registry, they come out and have a very difficult time being reintroduced in society because these barriers are in place based on the crimes that they've committed. So how is it, again, that you can have all of these people coming from, 140 different countries and just be dropped off by airplane in all of our communities? And not only are they dropped off in our communities that can potentially cause harm to us and our children, but we got to foot the bill. Our tax-paying dollars got to feed them, got to clothe them, got to provide medication and medicine while they do what they do. So I want to play again. I'm going to play AOC so you can see how crazy this woman is.
Tom Homan. Tom, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. The arrests are up, and yet you still get pushback from the sanctuary cities. How significant is that pushback, and is it stopping you from doing your job?
Oh, it's absolutely not going to stop us. I mean, it makes our job more difficult, makes the job more dangerous. I mean, the numbers, as you said, we're more than twice the numbers as Joe Biden had a year ago from today, and the vast majority of being public safety threats. But am I happy? No, I want more. Because we had, last count, we had over 600,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions walking the streets of this country. So we got a lot of them to find. But Sanctuary City makes it difficult. What's most concerning, though, it makes it more dangerous. When we can arrest a bad guy in a county jail, if one officer arrests one guy in the safety and security of county jail or a state prison. But when these sanctuary cities release a public safety threat back into the public, which on its face is just ridiculous, it's more dangerous for the ICE officers to make that arrest. It's more dangerous for the alien, and it's certainly more dangerous for the communities. Releasing a public safety threat back in the community is just dumb, and it puts the communities at great risk of more crime. So we want to work with the sanctuary cities and get into the jail. Give us access to the guy that you locked in a jail cell. That's who we want to talk to.
Well, I mean, look, you've got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doing webinars to explain to illegal immigrants how to evade ICE arrests. And then she tweeted out after something you said maybe she's going to be in trouble now. And she says maybe he can learn to read the Constitution would be a good place to start. She's continuing her resist efforts against your efforts, Tom.
Look, I forgot more about the Constitution, immigration enforcement as you ever know. I mean, I had to educate her during congressional testimony that entering the country illegally is a crime. So, whatever. But what she needs to do is read the statutes enacted by Congress. Title 8, United States Code 1324, United States. Title 8, United States Code 1324 and 25. That's what she needs to read, because it's illegal to enter this country. It's a crime to enter this country illegally. Not only that, when you harbor and conceal and impede law enforcement, that's a felony. So what she's doing, she says she's educating them as to their constitutional rights, and we all know they got constitutional rights. But what she's really doing, you and I and the rest of the country knows, she's trying to teach them how to evade law enforcement. Now, I just said, well, out of the gate, we're concentrating on public safety threats, national security threats. So she's educating those in the country illegally with a significant criminal conviction, public safety threat. Don't open your door, don't dot the I's. Here's how you invade law enforcement. Let's hope she's not educating the next person who gets out and murders a young college student in Georgia. I mean, these are bad people we're looking for. So she can call it education all she wants, but we all know it's about evading law enforcement. These people have been ordered removed. The people we're looking for right now have final orders. They're criminals. They're in the country illegally. A judge has ordered them removed. They become a fugitive. And these are the folks she's helping? So I've asked the Department of Justice to look at this. Where is the line on impediment? Where does that fine line so we can instruct ICE officers what they can do when people don't open the doors or try to evade their arrest? So I simply asked DOJ, give me a legal opinion, because every Department of Justice will interpret things differently. What is the legal opinion on impediment? And we'll see what happens.
How significant are the businesses that the dangerous cartels have started up in America? I'm talking about the human trafficking businesses, the safe houses in several cities in this country, and the stash houses, as well as the drug cartel business. How significant has that business become that the drug cartels are running inside America?
Look, the drug cartels, they're like a Fortune 500 company. Some of these drug cartels, the Jalisco cartel, they're operating in 43 nations, 43 different countries around the globe. They used to be, back in my day when I was an agent, they were responsible for, smuggling drugs into the United States and to our major cities, and it'd be distributed by local gangs. Now they have a footprint in every major city in this nation. They have taken over the distribution channels within the United States. They have a strong foothold here, and that's why we're concentrating. We're concentrating on drug cartels. We're concentrating on TDA, Tren de Agua. I'm not going to be happy to every single one of Tren de Aguas out of this country. They need to be eradicated, along with MS-13. Well, this is why President Trump, again, he proves every day why he's the greatest president of my lifetime. He designated them terrorist organizations. Why did he do that? Because they've killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. They've killed thousands of journalists and law enforcement in Mexico. They've killed thousands of citizens. They're acting like a terrorist organization. They've killed more Americans than any terrorist organization. So President Trump did the right thing. Designated them a terrorist organization. We'll bring the weight of the world on them. President Trump will wipe them off the face of the earth by the time he's done.
And that has allowed you to get tougher on them because he has deemed them terrorist organizations.
Absolutely. President Trump. Look what this president's done in just the first month of him being in office. Illegal crossings on the border are down 90%. 90% in just a matter of a couple of weeks. And what does that mean, Maria? It means less people are dying crossing the border. Less Americans are dying from fentanyl overdoses. Less women and children being sex trafficked across that border. Less terrorists are getting in. President Trump has taken incredible action on the border. We're already at a high state of security on the southern border. We're arresting twice as many illegal alien criminals that Biden did. We're on a lightning speed to do what the president promised the American people he would do.
Tom, thank you so much for your efforts. We're watching your work. We so appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So there you have it. You have, Tom Homan, who's really just going over exactly what I stated. These are dangerous people. They are not out here, ICE specifically out here trying to just arrest and deport every person they see or they're fine. Hey, listen, if you're here illegally, then yes, it is possible that you would be deported, but their priority is to get out the criminals, get out these drug cartels, get out these gang organizations, get out all of these men who have heinous crimes on their records, get them the hell out, okay? And so that is what he is trying to do. And again, for the life of me, I cannot understand how you have Democratic leaders in these states like Colorado and Boston who are stating that they're going to protect, and in California, protect these immigrants. I mean, and even in New York, they were kind of in a precarious situation because Eric Adams was like, he was trying to kind of ride the fence in regards to whether he wanted to assist with them being deported. But at the same time, his damn freedom was on the line. So once Trump reversed all of those charges he had looming, he worked with ICE. He's like, listen, come get him. I will release whatever information you need via Rikers Island. Do what you got to do. Even Kathy Hochul said the same thing. They're going to work with ICE. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand the concept of knowing that there are people here, one, illegally, so that is a crime, and two, that they are people who have committed heinous crimes in their own country, victimized people in their own hometown, and now we want to protect them here in America. Like, it defies logic. It just defies logic. And so I don't know what the Democratic Party is going to do. As I've mentioned in some of my past videos, I used to be a Democrat. I was a Democrat for my entire life. My very first job as a teenager was campaigning for the Democratic Party, campaign for Obama. I am so appalled by what the Democratic Party has become. It is just a disgrace. And I don't know how they're ever going to come back, if they can come back, or even if they should. I'm thinking, Americans need to start uniting and create the People's Party. We need to create something different. There is a mass amount of people who are not in support of Trump, who are not in support of the Republican Party, and what the Democrats are doing and where they have gone is just beyond the scope of understanding. Like, it just defies all logic. But nonetheless, again, if you have not subscribed, please do, so that you can continue to get all of this content I create. I definitely appreciate it. And again, let's keep this conversation going. Please do give me a like, get in the comment, and share your thoughts and your opinions on everything we discussed today. And share this video. I think Americans need to know how much they've been lied to. They need to understand the gravity of what's happening in this country right now and the impact that it not only has on our economy, but on our safety. So again, my name is Andrea Banu, and this is the Community Ledger. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and watch the next video by clicking right here.